Hi everyone, my name is Nick Munson, Communications Specialist here at Marymount University, and you are watching Faculty in Focus, a new video series that we've created here on campus highlighting our dedicated faculty members and the work that they do. I have the pleasure of chatting with Sister Patricia Helene Earl, a professor in education and a mainstay here on campus at Marymount University. How many years have you been here?
Well, thank you, Nick, for having me. It's always nice to be able to talk about Marymount. I'm finishing 17 years this time around, but a total of 20 years.
Congratulations.
So, yes, it's a major milestone for me.
That's awesome, and it's good to have someone like you on campus.
Well, thank you.
And everyone knows your name and knows who you are, and it's good to put a face to the name myself, having started recently.
I feel the same, and we're very happy to have you with us here at Marymount.
Thank you. So starting off our interview today, we know that you direct the Master's in Education program in Administration and Supervision, which is also known as the Catholic School Leadership Program. How did you get interested in this topic, and what makes this program special from maybe some other ones at other universities in the region?
Well, first of all, I'm a sister of the Immaculate Heart of Mary and a product of Catholic education. And in addition to that, I've taught elementary, secondary. I've been an elementary principal, assistant superintendent of schools for the Arlington Diocese. So when I was in the diocesan office in that last role, Marymount was creating this program. And I was fascinated with the idea that it was not only designed to meet the needs of licensure for anyone seeking a master's in administration and supervision to be a principal, but also with a primary focus on looking at our Catholic schools and meeting the needs of the Catholic schools where there's a slightly different focus and a spiritual component. Right. And so we're able to blend what's needed anywhere to run a school, but then add that added dimension. And then coming to Marymount with its mission dedicated to Catholic education, it seemed like a wonderful fit.
Yeah, that's great, and you provide that sort of niche aspect to people that aspire to administer and supervise at Catholic schools.
Yes, and we try to do that. First of all, for me, you asked how long I've been here at Marymount. I actually went here to Marymount as a child in the elementary grades. Yeah. So
the
I
junior
have this
school at the time, right?
In the junior school. Worked here during college and after college, and I came back in the early 80s to be the principal, or as they said, headmistress of the junior school, and then came back in 2003 to be the first full-time director of the Catholic School Leadership Program, Masters in Administration and Supervision.
That's amazing.
So it's a special, it calls me to recognize that I'm a product of Catholic school, but I also have a lot to give back in the various roles that I've had. And looking at this program, for me it was an opportunity to recognize that as we look to develop and build our Catholic education systems around the country, with a declining population of religious and priests who were always associated with Catholic school, this program was designed not only to meet the needs of licensure in a public school, but it was also designed to provide those aspiring to an administrative role to show them how to help to build the faith formation of the students and to be not only the instructional and managerial leader of the school, but the spiritual leader of the school, along with the pastor and priests and other clergy who might be in the parish or in a private school setting. So those things are very attractive to me. In addition to that, my own dissertation, I did my own graduate work at George Mason in Fairfax, and my dissertation was on the faith formation of the laity in Catholic schools. Yeah. And so my research was directly applicable to this program and laid the foundation over and above my own experience to want to then contribute to build this program for Marymount, because I love Marymount. It's like my second home. And also to build this as a program that would meet the needs for Catholic education around the country. We've had students from 38 states, as well as 4 or 5 foreign countries. Wow. So, and this is because the program is unique in that the students begin in the summer. They come to campus for 2 weeks in July. They take the first 2 courses. They get to know each other in a cohort. And then everything fall and spring is totally online. They come back the second summer on campus, and then fall and spring online. So it's a blend of the online instruction, but they've gotten to build a community themselves. And therefore, the online instruction is much more personal. When I first came to Marymount to direct this program, we were probably one of the first online programs at the university.
Wow.
So we've come a long way in that time.
Yeah, very
in
groundbreaking.
Building, yes, very groundbreaking, and very much a presence at Marymount.
You've been here for so many years. Why do you enjoy being here at Marymount, and what keeps you coming back year after year?
Well, first of all, I feel like I'm a product of Marymount in many ways, as a, having been here as a child. I believe in the mission of Marymount and the fact that, we are focused on preparing the whole person. We talk about students come first. And in a Catholic setting, that's very appropriate because we are seeking to serve the needs of others. And so I like being here because it's a very welcoming atmosphere. It's a very academic atmosphere. It's also a place where I feel that in our program, we are trying to assist the students in the Catholic School Leadership Program in their faith formation so that they in turn can assist their teachers, who in turn will help their students. So it's kind of like a cycle that just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to have.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm interested in learning a little bit more about what you're currently working on, whether in terms of the Catholic School Leadership Program or other initiatives that you oversee.
Well, as the director of the program, I teach about a third of the courses, and I, hire for the program, and I also do a lot of the recruitment and decision making on who's admitted to the program. But this is a special year because the program was started in 2001. So our cohort that will come this summer will be our 20th cohort. So we're beginning our 20th year.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that we can do a few things this summer to kind of Marymount's celebrating its 70th year, but we're celebrating 20.
I was just about to mention that.
And
everything kind of lines up real nicely.
It's a great milestone, and it's wonderful. At this point, we're looking forward to having Bishop Burbage celebrate our opening Mass.
And he does that pretty much every year, right?
Since he came to the diocese, I invited him the first year, and even though his schedule is very busy, he seems to enjoy. He makes time to come to this. So we're always happy to have his presence and his blessing on what we're doing in our program, which I think is very helpful and certainly part of a Catholic school leadership program. A program, though, that still meets all of the licensure if you're in any county school system, so it is a nice blend. The other thing that's very significant right now, our program, along with all of the courses in the education department, we are going through our CAPE reaccreditation. So just as the university has an accreditation process, the education department has a reaccreditation process through CAPE as well as through the Virginia Department of Education. So we're looking at things and making certain that, we have all the requirements met, the regulations, and then looking also to make certain that, which we do anyway, we've come a long way since the program was first founded. When I came, we had a syllabus. And so we've been able to add the teacher licensure piece to the program. We have a 99% pass rate on the National School Leadership Licensure Assessment program tests that they have to take and pass.
Very impressive.
It is impressive. And in addition to that, as we have developed, we've begun to be more current in terms of the technology for the online program with Quality Matters. And so we try to keep up with not only the latest things that we can do to provide a healthy, robust education for our students, but we realize in what we're doing for them, they're going to go out and model that for their teachers. And so it's kind of a win-win situation for everyone there. The program is a 36-credit program. It's basically a 2-year program. One of the other pieces that makes it unique is because it was designed with this added aspect of assisting Catholic schools, the Marymount, in keeping with its mission, offers a 50% tuition discount to those who come to the program who are in Catholic educational institutions. And so this makes it attractive.
Yeah.
Many of our dioceses, including the Arlington Diocese, do offer some opportunities for additional scholarship funds. So again, this makes it doable from a financial perspective.
It provides that pathway to anyone, especially for Catholic educators already.
Exactly. And I think one of the other pieces is we have a beautiful diversity in the program. Marymount is known for its diversity. Ours might be a little different than the vastly global diversity, but because our students, a high percentage come from the Arlington diocesan area, but as I mentioned, we've had students from all over the country. We've had students from France, Honduras, Bermuda, and other places in Central America, and hoping to expand some of that international opportunity as well. So it provides a diversity for the students from a cultural perspective. And then when we have students who do come from other faith-based schools or from a public school, again, there's a diversity of instruction, because even as we teach, for example, when you're doing a school law course, you need to teach about public school law as the foundation piece, and then begin to show where private school law, which affects our Catholic schools, how it's similar and how it's slightly different. Or when you're doing budget planning, you're not as dependent on what the county has passed at a board meeting as much as you're looking at the overall foundation of the finances from the chancery, from the finance committee, from the pastor and the principal, looking at the real needs of the school. So there's a lot more personal planning. So these are some of the things. In addition to the fact that at the heart of the program is this idea that the principal is also responsible for the spiritual formation. Just as, we're forming our young people in Christ, and so the principal takes that leadership role. And so as we go through the various courses where it's applicable, we want to include the traditions of our faith and the things that make our Catholic faith special, so that as leaders, they can continue those traditions. Because people will say, well, what makes a Catholic school different from another school? And so it goes down to, yes, we have the academics, and they need to be top quality, as they are here at Marymount, but we also have to promote the traditions, the faith, the virtues that are part of our Catholic identity. And that is what makes us uniquely distinct from, let's say, other programs that would be similar in the area.
Gotcha. I'm sure many graduates of this program stay in touch with you over the years. Do you have any interesting anecdotes, perhaps, of interesting places or jobs that they've been able to obtain with the help of this program?
Actually, we're very blessed. First of all, our faculty who join me in the program are, in addition to having the appropriate academic credentials, they are current practitioners in the field. So one is an elementary principal, one is a secondary principal, one is a superintendent of a diocese, one is a consultant in a diocese, and so on. And so we have a diversity of instructional people working with our students. Our students have gone on, I believe this year in the Arlington Diocese alone, about half to two-thirds of our principals are graduates of our program here.
So you see
we
that
have
impact.
Tremendous support from the Arlington Diocese. But beyond that, we see students. I've had one student who was a superintendent in a diocese in the far west, another student who was an assistant superintendent in one of the southern states. And then we've had, those who have gone on to use the program not only to be principals and directors and assistant principals in pre-K to through high school, but also to be able to reach out into areas of campus ministry, athletic directors, different aspects of running a school that require that leadership component. And so it's been a lot of fun. What I enjoy is the students will come back to me, or they will email me with when they may have come, either they weren't married yet or they just had their first child and now we're in, child number 3, so I get, the baby pictures, and they do tend to keep up and keep very interested. I think one of the other pieces, several of our graduates are really strong advocates in recruiting for the program, and that speaks volumes. If they themselves have had a good experience, they're going to want to go out and bring other students into the program.
Very cool.
So that, I think, is a major anecdote, because I think it does tell us that they appreciate what they have received, and they want others to benefit from that as well.
Of course.
I think one of the other pieces is the fact that there are other universities around the country that do have a program similar to ours. But I think because of the way ours is structured, with the summer component being relatively small, but it's not forcing you to be away from family that much of a break. It's not a 6-week summer session. And then with the pieces online, I think that draws people to the program, but then it makes them want to bring others with them. So I often will see someone will start, and the next year another person will come from that same school. So that says a lot. And I think the fact that, we do continue to draw from, especially in the southern states where there are not as many Catholic colleges, we draw a lot of our students from that area. But we, as I mentioned, we've gone coast to coast and north to south. And I think that's a very, strong statement to make.
Definitely. As you know, Marymount advocates the importance of teaching, scholarship, and service. How do you feel you support each of these with your program and also your own contributions?
Well, I think, first of all, because we're preparing people to be principals of schools, then we are directly teaching them some of the basic aspects of good administration, reaching out to others, the nuts and bolts of running a school, supervising teachers so that they will be training the teachers of tomorrow, and maybe the teachers who will be here at Marymount will be in some of their schools. And so I think we make a strong effort in the area of teaching, because we're teaching them to be teachers and leaders. So I think that's a very strong piece there. In terms of the research piece, as I mentioned, my own dissertation was on the faith formation of the laity in Catholic schools. And what I have found is, given my own background in diocesan leadership as well as here at Marymount, and then my own study, that has led me to focus primarily on the Catholic identity, the spiritual role of the principal, and some of the ways of promoting that faith dimension, the spiritual development of the faculty and the student, as well as virtuous living. And so my research has gone into much of what we teach from a Catholic perspective, added on to the nuts and bolts of administration. But then, because of what I'm teaching, I'm invited very often to give presentations to diocesan principals around the country, various schools around the country. Usually I speak periodically with the National Catholic Education Association. I had a great opportunity a few years ago to speak at the Catholic University in Sydney, Australia. And so there's a tremendous interest and need for research in Catholic education. And so my research, my background and experience led me to this program, and then in working with the program, I begin to see some of those needs that I can go out then and continue to build on that and bring that not just in the program at Marymount, but bring some of those things out to other schools and other dioceses. So, for example, I'm also part of the Leadership Academy for the Arlington Diocese, and I do a presentation every year for them, basically on the spiritual role and Catholic identity in our schools. So I think the scholarship is intertwined with the program and with my own background. And then when we get into the service component, in a Catholic school, any faith-based school, we're focused on the idea at the heart of the philosophy is a servant leadership in the imitation of Christ. For those who are coming from other faiths, or maybe no faith, then we're looking at that servant leadership from the perspective of the respect for the others and growing the importance of helping every student to develop their full potential. But so that service component is at the heart of a Catholic school. So again, it lends itself that as we teach and we encourage our leaders, are future leaders. Some are principals already and coming back for another degree. Some are teachers coming as aspiring future leaders. But as we focus on that leadership and what that contains and what that means, they in turn have to put that into practice in their day-to-day schools. And so that means bringing back to the schools some of the things that we do very well, feeding the hungry, making sandwiches for the poor, here in Arlington going to Christ House, having students, participate in clothing drives and making sandwiches and going out to help others less fortunate. For myself, I'm a great advocate of we teach by example. And so I also try to kind of mimic that or witness to that myself in a variety of ways, being available to do some of the presentations that I do in the diocese, helping with job fairs and things that are diocesan related, particularly here. And also here at Marymount, trying to be supportive of the chaplain's office. And then in an additional way, oftentimes working with the diocese through their Office of the Propagation of the Faith in helping Father to do mission talks, which not only benefit the propagation of the faith, but benefit my own religious community, which has schools in South America. And so it's a win-win for both of us. Yeah. So I feel that you teach by example. And so if we want to promote service, I try to give some examples. This is what I do. Now, what can you do in your school?
Yeah. Sister Patricia, you are a very busy lady, and you make a great global impact, not just here in Arlington, but everywhere. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I think we've covered a variety of aspects of the program and of my love for Marymount and Marymount's dedication to the formation of the whole person, and also the importance of how this program, it's often been called somewhat of a signature program because it is so closely aligned with the mission of Marymount as a Catholic institution, focused on really creating and helping to form the whole person, which is the heart of a Catholic philosophy. So I appreciate having time to meet with you today, Nick, and be a part of this new program.
Yeah, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so much.
Sharing information on the program as well as your personal journey here at Marymount.
Well, thank you for having me today.
That'll wrap this episode up for Faculty in Focus. We'll see you next time.